Well, welcome to Monday. Welcome to Monday. Good to be with you. I am Sean Starr. We are here live for our first ever YouTube live edition on this game day where the Montreal Canadiens looking to put something together after taking it to the Columbus Blue Jackets on Saturday night, getting set to host Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and the Edmonton Oilers. Of course, we have Week 11 to wrap up as well with the Houston Texans looking to get something going here. Hard to understand this Houston team. We'll get into that, of course, as they take on the Dallas Cowboys. But good news. Let's begin with some good news on this back-to-work Monday. Patrik Laine seen skating hard at Montreal Canadiens practice, working with Adam Nicholas earlier today as the Canadiens get set to play Edmonton, as I mentioned. But yeah, this is unbelievable news considering the severity. And I mean, just frankly, what Patrik Laine's knee looked like. Like, go look up a still photo of Patrik Laine's knee after he collided in that preseason game with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And tell me you're not surprised to see how quickly and how aggressively he was skating and shooting pucks. So can't wait to see how much quicker things move on for Patrik Laine. Again, practicing, looking good. Adam Nicholas broke away, then moved with the goaltenders ahead of tonight's 7:30 or just after 7:30 game with Edmonton. And no surprise, really. Let's start with goaltending. Sam Montembeault gets the start and goal after he was the goaltender of record in the 5-1 win over Columbus on Saturday night at the Bell Center. And, you know, I find it a tricky situation, the one Martin St. Louis is in, when it comes to deciding ultimately how do you massage Caden Primo's development in real time as an NHL goaltender with the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, he's on the team versus getting the good vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like a 5-1 win over Columbus is exactly the type of victory you wanted to see Montreal put on the board, right? Like they go into the game against Edmonton 1 point out for being the worst team point-wise in the National Hockey League. So I think it's a tricky spot, balancing the feel-good vibes of winning and making sure that you're developing good habits with stuff everyone had been reporting on, people calling into TSN 690 with Connor McKenna and yours truly. Make sure you listen to us tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for a full recap of tonight's contest. And you can listen to it on TSN 690, of course, for just like you can for every game. But we talk so much about bad habits, about defensive structure, the Canadiens' hybrid zone and what they're doing. So if we're talking about them learning new ways to play the game under Martin St. Louis' watch and coaching, then I think we have to start to rearrange the priority of building good habits. And by building good habits, that should lead to victories. And right now, without question, Sam Montembeault is the better goaltender. Therefore, in my head, feel free to inject your own opinion. I'd love to hear from you. Our chat is open. I'll be replying to all the ones that do come in. So if you feel differently than how I feel and going into the game tonight, that Sam Montembeault is the right choice, the logical choice to play Edmonton at 7:30, as opposed to, okay, let's throw Caden Primo in. And I get it. Like the last time Caden Primo played was a Monday in the afternoon in Buffalo on Veterans Day. He gets the hook. The Canadiens are in a slugfest with the Sabres, but they walk out of it with 7-5 win because Sam Montembeault and I don't want to say save the day. It's too dramatic, but you know what I'm saying? Primo doesn't get the hook and St. So it's logical then that Montembeault gets the Saturday game against Columbus, and he did all right. And now the Canadiens play tonight, and then after tonight, they don't play again until Saturday when the juggernaut, high-scoring Vegas Knights come to Montreal. So it's unfortunate for Caden Primo. The timing is what it is. But yeah, it's going to be 2 weeks, and he's not going to see really any live fire. So if that's the case, I'm going to find the silver lining in that. You know what that is for me? Better habits, finer work, get down on the fine print of that detail at practice, and hopefully put that into game action when the schedule allows itself. But right now, on this 18th day of November, I like the Montreal Canadiens going with the better goaltender as you're beginning to get some structure, which takes us to Uri Slafkovsky. So he's got one goal this season. It came in the fourth game of the year. And look, I don't want to be critical of the 20-year-old who's, finding new line mates. He's, started the season on the top line when he had a great final 40 games a year ago. Got him the contract, all the confidence, talking a good game, looking the part to me. and then starts the season on the top line. The Montreal Canadiens are criticized for being slow out of the gate, and where's the jump, and where's the commitment, and where's the pushback, and all that stuff. So it's only natural the coach decides to move guys up and down the lineup. And one of those guys was Martin St. Louis. I mean, was Uri Slafkovsky. But let's remember here. I mean, you had at one point, Yoel Armia was playing up on the top line. You had Emil Heineman for a hot minute playing on the top line, right? So it had been a little bit of a revolving door. And Uri Slafkovsky was, I don't want to say lost, because he is coming off a 3-point game Monday afternoon in Buffalo, but the goals, right? And the shots. I think, Connor on the show this morning brought this up. Like, he's averaging, I think, a shot a goal over his last 4. And that's obviously not enough. And it's up to, I think, at this point of this guy's career, where I feel that he's not even comfortable yet using his size. And you saw it on Saturday, where the frustration reached a boiling point, that little bit of a tantrum, breaking that stick on the bench, being very demonstrative in a negative way when your team is trying to get out of that negative vibe, and you have a 20-year-old acting like a 12-year-old at a Pee Wee house game because his buddy didn't pass him the puck. And that's a problem. And I have to tell you, I love the way Martin St. Louis handled that. And you're just not going to play. You're going to sit down for 15 minutes. So the coach, I think, has shown in the last couple of weeks, and the team has shown with some wins here, that they're starting to develop and starting to understand and put it together. Maybe not as quickly as they obviously would have hoped. We're in the mix. In the mix for another bottom 5 lottery pick. So it's up to, at this point, Uri Slafkovsky to start growing into the player he hopes to be one day. And I understand that because he was the number 1 overall selection, even myself, I find I get caught in he was the number 1 overall pick, man. He's supposed to look like this. It reminds me, because I had a friend of mine who is a high level golfer, and a Division I player in the States for a good university. And I mean, he is arguably the best player I've ever played golf with. And he had won a couple of big Division I tournaments south of the border. And he was telling me, he's like, dude, I'm not doing it. I'm like, what do you mean you're not going for it? Like, trying to make a run at being a professional golfer. Like, one day you think you would see on TV, right? He had won provincial tournaments. He was on Canada's under-18 golf development program. He went to a school where Corey Connors went to, Mackenzie Hughes went to. So, like, the pedigree, the path, the checkpoints was check, check, check. All the people we watch and report on and comment on across every sport have that commonality. They all check boxes along the path to becoming who they become. And so my buddy in golf was checking all of those boxes. Big tournaments in the province, international tournaments, national tournaments, scholarships. So you see what I'm saying? Like, check, 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 check. But it wasn't even good enough for him because the margins are that small. So when I think about Uri Slafkovsky, it's like, check, check, check. You did it at an international stage. You got everybody's attention. You became the number 1 overall pick. You made the National Hockey League. You got financial security for you and your family for generations to come. So it's like, check, 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 check. But those last few checks didn't come because he had put up massive points. Those checks came on potential. So now it's up to him to be that man and to play his way into that contract. So it's going to be interesting to see how he develops with Martin St. Louis, and whether or not, when Patrick Laine is ready to return, because I began this more or less talking about the best news today, other than having Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid, by the way, I got to mention, the Oilers were here yesterday, and McDavid was kicking it at a restaurant in Griffintown, like, I don't know, 10 minutes from where I am. So that was pretty cool. You could check out where Connor McDavid was eating right over here. He was like right over there. I remember when Trudeau and what's his face, Barack Obama, they were eating at a spot on Notre Dame, and I was like, wow, like, there's just I don't know. I just thought it was cool, just so close to my house. But yeah, Connor McDavid and the boys were here, getting ready to take on the Canadiens at 7:30. You can listen to it as always on TSN 690. If there's anything about this game, excuse me, I see the comments coming in. Let's see. Wonder if can you see these comments coming in? Because normally I use another software. And when the comments come in, they just pop up on my screen, but they didn't here. So thank you so much for commenting. Thank you so much for watching. It's game day, 7:30. Week 11 of the National Football League wraps up tonight. Before I get to that, it's the Dallas Cowboys hosting the Houston Texans. The Texans at 6-4, laying 7 points. So they go there as 7-point favorites against the 3-6 Cowboys. Cooper Rush, everybody. Let's get ready for the Cooper Rush era 2.0 tonight. Are you ready for that? No. Yeah, we're going to be committed to watching Connor McDavid and the Leon Draisaitl show. So yeah, what I like tonight in this hockey game, again, I like that Sam Montembeault is starting. By the way, David Savard gets reinserted back into the lineup. That means Justin Barron will be on the outside looking in again tonight. So after Savard missed Saturday's game, he's back in tonight. Other than that, no real big changes. Obviously hoping to see something a little bit more in terms of engagement from Uri Slafkovsky. And then ultimately, it's time to see if some of these veterans on the Montreal Canadiens can start doing some damage here, you know. In particular, I think based on how I see Jake Evans playing, I mean, I'd like to see Ken Hughes see if there's a team that needs rounded out depth for their hopeful Stanley Cup run, because I think Jake Evans is going to be such a valuable piece to a team that looks for responsible, hardworking, simple approach type of games, and that is Jake Evans' game to me. So I'd love to see the value of Jake Evans, and I think the value is there. And he would be nearly at the top of my list if we're talking about players to move. I think Mike Matheson obviously would be another huge get. Happy to see Mike Matheson score a goal. The Canadiens defenseman scored a goal on the power play on Saturday night in that 5-1 win over Columbus, the first of the season. So again, you know, as we talk about often, the Montreal Canadiens in their rebuilding path are really a team in transition, waiting for the Mike Mathesons, the David Savards, the Christian Dvoraks, the UL Armias, the Josh Andersons, those type of players to, you know, play well to the point where they're attractive to other teams, and or their contracts run out and they are replaced eventually by the next wave of players. And that's what I mean by transition. That's where the Canadiens are going into their 7:30 game and beyond. But again, just to reiterate here, I'm a fan of developing good habits by repetition, and the Canadiens picking up a couple of wins, 2 in their last 3 going into the game tonight. I think Martin St. Louis has done a very good job handling Uri Slafkovsky in the tantrum on Saturday, going with the better goaltender, giving your team the best chance to win a game tonight and stay competitive. Remember, the last time the Canadiens and Oilers met at the Bell Center was January of 2024. And that was a thriller, edge of your seater, right? It was Edmonton skating off with a 2-1 win, which is a unique scoreline, because if you look at the Oilers' recent trend, it's crazy what the Oilers have been up to going into the game tonight. They've won 4 in a row, but 3 of them have been in overtime, or have gone to overtime, excuse me, and they're coming off the Mitch Marner loss on Saturday night. So I apologize for that. But yeah, they've gone to 3 straight games in overtime. Mitch Marner burns them on Saturday night, but they do score goals. And that's what they're known to do. And Connor McDavid and Draisaitl are doing it. But as we found out today, actually, on the morning show with McKenna and yours truly, the TSN 690 play-by-play man, Victor Finley, told us that goals per game on the average, the Canadiens are actually doing better than Edmonton. But the rub is the Canadiens are surrendering like almost 4 goals a game. So I like goals tonight. If you're looking at from that angle, I think the better play, if that's your thing, you want to put a gummy bear down or 2 on the Oilers and Habs tonight on TSN 690. I like the over. You could jack it up 6.5 for a little bit more. I think this game can ultimately get to 7, but bet the Canadiens at your own peril. The juice might be worth the squeeze. I mean, the Canadiens do sometimes get up for the better opposition. We'll see tonight. And remember, like, Lane Hudson against McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, that should be a fun show. And Hudson has already admitted publicly that he's been starstruck playing, looking at the other side of the rink. It's like, oh, wow, okay. Yeah, there's Artemi Panarin. Oh, yeah, I got to deal with him. There's Alexander Ovechkin. Oh, there's Crosby. Cool, got to deal with that guy. yeah, he's got McDavid and Draisaitl to handle along with the rest of his team. So hopefully he's not too starstruck. But I doubt it. I can't wait to watch him. He is a price of admission player. Thoroughly enjoying Lane Hudson. Even the Canadiens are losing, man. You just watch 48 out there when he gets the puck on a stick. It's so fun to watch a player that has the ability to gain zone entry. So yeah, let's finish up on the over tonight. I think we're going to see some goals. Sam Montembeault in goal tonight for the Montreal Canadiens. You can watch it on TSN 690. Monday Night Football presents the wrap-up to Week 11. Happy for my boy Rick Spaghetti in the chat. My Saints won. My daughter's Chiefs lost. So let's get into that for a half a second. I love, I'm happy for you, Rick. I'm happy to see. I mean, it's crazy to me. Like, Lattimore gets traded. They fire their head coach, it was Dennis Allen, and ultimately they go to Rizzi as their new coach, special teams guy, and they look better. Taysom Hill looks uber dangerous. Derek Carr says he's playing the best football of his career, and the Saints are winning and winning in an entertaining way. Alvin Kamara, again, on the theme of a price of admission player, Alvin Kamara certainly fits that mold, doesn't he? So happy for my boy Rick Spaghetti and everybody else in Saints Nation. But Week 11 has a all Texas battle with Houston at 6-4, going at the 3-6 Cooper Rush-led Dallas Cowboys. I mean, I feel for you, Cowboy Nation. I really do. You know, and I come at you representing Chicago Bears Nation, where my team was a defended Hail Mary away from going to 5-2. Since then, they've disintegrated. Caleb Williams in his rookie career has led the Bears on 2 game-winning drives, and he has lost them both thanks to ineptitude and bad coaching and a combination of all of those things. All of those things. So I come at you from a very relatable angle. A suffering fan who sometimes reacts like a fan when their coach and players make boneheaded decisions. And that takes us to Mike McCarthy, the lame duck season that he is in with Dallas. Micah Parsons calls Mike McCarthy out, his own coach. He calls out his own coach publicly after the Cowboys get dismantled by the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 10. Calls him out publicly. This team is a train wreck going off the edge of a cliff yesterday. Destination, kapow, to the bottom. And now they've got CJ Stroud. And what do we make? What do we make of this Texans team? You know, they lose to the Jets. And we're wondering about what type of identity are we talking about with this Houston team? You know, they handle the Detroit Lions. Stay within sniffing distance. Detroit, who buries everybody and leaves them in their wake, got by Houston, in Houston, granted, by a 3-point spread. Jets beat them by 8. Another loss for Houston on the road. But then at home, they beat Indianapolis. You know, and they hung 41 on a good defense in New England, a crappy offense, mind you, but they can hold their own. Patriots defense, not terrible, not great, not terrible. So it's like Jekyll and Hyde, and I know Houston has had some injuries and they've had some problems. But they're 6-4 and they have a great quarterback and a great leader in CJ Stroud. The only thing that gives me a little bit of pause, it's a big number. The Texans are 7-point favorites. The only thing that gives me some pause is the pride angle. Are the Cowboys going to play with it or not? That's the question. You know, are they going to show up? You know, they've played pretty much, they're at home. They've been at home pretty much all of November. I think they were on the road early on, like first week of November, and they've been home all month. So, like, there's no travel, there's no time zone, there's no sleeping in a hotel, all the other excuses used to chalk up a loss or a crap performance. You don't have any of that. So are you going to play with pride? That's the only thing that gives me some pause. Y'all going to play with pride or not? And I don't think they will. I think the Houston Texans go there. I think they hang 30 on the Cowboys, and there's no way Cooper Rush is going to keep up. Don't see it. Not happening. Texans rule. Let's lay the 7. Let's play over 41. Full square all day. Thank you so much for the Texans. Steph Howard representing Bills Nation. As I mentioned in my Mise au Jeu article for the Sunday Ticket Week 11 extravaganza, where my picks against the spread this season moved to 38 and 31. for the 2024-2025 NFL season. I did have the under in last night's game, which did not cash. Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, their season is over. Man, he's such a great quarterback. Joe Burrow, he is unbelievable. Justin Herbert too. The future looks bright at that position, doesn't it, my friends? With C.J. Stroud representing one of the bright spots for the future. Caleb Williams, yeah, I'm comfortable saying bright spot for the future at that position in this league. But that game skyrocketed over the 48.5 points. So that's an L for your boy. But this is a scheduled L for the Dallas Cowboys, the Houston Texans. I think this might be a get-right game for them. I think tonight, to take it back to the National Hockey League, just after 7:30 on TSN 690, a scheduled L for the Montreal Canadiens. Maybe if you're looking to sprinkle something on this game, maybe you want to drop it down and take the Oilers minus a goal and a half. Maybe they can run away with this. But it's for fun. It's all just for fun. And I think we see some goals tonight. So I think the better play, if that's your thing, over 6.5, not as happy, but over 6 I like. Over 6 I like between the Oilers and Canadiens. And yeah, Monday Night Football, I think we're going to go square all day. I like over, and I like Houston on the road, and we're going to lay all 7 points. So that was our first YouTube live extravaganza, live from my beautiful office. As you can see right there, that is my boy, Leon. This is my better half. All her CDs, she's stuck in, it's 1991 in my house. And so we love CDs. As you could tell, they're the Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus. But ultimately, all this there, that's the money shot. We call that in the business, my friends. That is the money shot. 1, 2, and then 3 golf bags. And they're all filled with golf clubs. Feel free. I am a golf degenerate. That there is no doubt. I am a golf degenerate. As you can see by like all of those head covers there. I make no bones about it. There's a dozen golf balls. I make no bones. I'm a golf degenerate. And Leon will always be a part of my show forever, ever. This actually, my Leon painting. See, look, I'm getting used to being on camera. I'm such an idiot, eh? I have no idea. Left, right. This is why I can never be a weatherman. Other than I got a face for radio. This whole left-right shit here just confuses me all the time. So you see the Leon painting there. That was actually when we lost him in December of 2021. We lost him to COVID. No, I'm kidding. During COVID, but no, he passed away. He had an illness and all that stuff. But why am I talking about the death of my dog? I just wanted to talk about how it was so touching that somebody sent that to me. It was a gift. Very, very touching. But yeah, that boy meant a lot to me. No doubt. He was a rescue dog. I don't know if I can get Hank in here. Hanky, you want to come? You want to come on the podcast before I sign off? What time is it? It's 5:20. I got to go make dinner. Hanky, let's see if I can get him in here. Come on. You want to come see? No, he doesn't listen. Useless dog. It's okay. He's relaxing on the couch. He deserves it. There's another rescue. We got him from Texas a couple of years ago. It'll be 2 years this December that he's with us. And holy cow, they have really lax dog laws in the state of Texas. And so there's this charity. There's this charity run out of New York that I touch base with. And what they do is they have all of these people across the United States, and they scoop up all these neglected, abused, abandoned dogs. Sometimes they'll find. You ever watch that show? You ever come across it? Pit bulls and parolees, stuff like that, where they have these dogs. They get called into these rescue centers. Dog found by the side of the highway. Dog chained up to a fence for 2 weeks. Come get it, type of thing, right? So that basically. Leon was that dog, my first dog there, the one behind me right there. They found him on St. Charles in Kirkland. Got sent to the SPCA. Next thing you know, I got him. Best thing I ever did in my life. And then I had him for like 11 years. He was 13 when he passed away. He had cancer, and I put down in my house. and then waited over a year and decided it was time to rescue another one. And that's when we decided that we're going to touch base with this federation, this dog rescue agency, and we were going through all the photos, kind of like dog Tinder. You're like swiping, I like this dog, I like this dog, you know. And then once I guess you see a dog that visually appeals to you, you start to read about the dog and its behavior and its quirks and all that stuff and its personality. And so ultimately, Hank checked boxes for us, and his name was Artie. Stupid name, didn't look like an Artie, not an Artie at all, very much a Hank. And so we liked the dog, and I gotta tell you, the vetting process was quite something. I applied for Big Brothers, Canada, and so I went through the vetting process for Big Brothers, and it was a unique experience because it was very long and very taxing. You gotta do a lot of paperwork, but then, like, in retrospect, you're like, "Yes, yes, do that." Make sure you double cross T's and double dot I's and all that stuff, right? Like, yes, do that stuff. And so it reminded me of that experience when I went through the process before ultimately rescuing Hank. And they actually went to each of my three references, spoke to them apparently at length on the phone, and then interviewed me on the phone for 2 hours. And so, yes, here we are 2 years later in a month or so with our dog Hank. And the baggage and the stress that came with this dog who was found and abused. He's got scars on his face, on his chest, on his legs. Looks like road rash. I don't know if he was hit by a car or what, but it looks like bite marks on the top of his head, on his cheeks, by his neck. And obviously, that comes with a lot of bleeping baggage. And it took us a year and a half. I would say the last 6 months have been okay. I think we're over the hump of just dealing with a lot of the dog's issues. So, if that's something that you are thinking about for you and your family, or if you're currently maybe watching this and struggling with rescue dog or your dog in general with some behavior issues, don't be shy. My email is in the car with star@gmail.com. Send me an email if I can relate and pass along some of my experience. I've had multiple dog trainers. I've had dogs my entire life, and I've worked with several dog trainers over the course of my dog life. Certainly with Hank, and trying to right a lot of wrongs there and get his mind right. I'd love to share that experience with you. So, and plus, I have some. I've actually got this bastard over there in the living room. I actually got him trained. I've trained him to wear winter boots to protect his paws from the snow and the salt on the streets. And so I have some really good tricks and tips if you need them, and I'm going to do a video on that in the not too distant future when the snow and stuff comes, so I can help you with your dog there. But yeah, dogs are a passion and will be. And like I said, if I can relate and help, I'm definitely here to help. In the car with star@gmail.com. All right. So thank you. Thanks for watching my first ever YouTube live. I'd like to do this a little bit more often. If you liked what you saw, like what you heard, hit me up in the comments, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I just would love to do a lot more Canadiens content from a local angle, obviously, and relate to the common fan, because that's who I was and that's who I am. So thanks for watching, everybody. Scheduled L for the Canadiens, but I do like Sam Montembeault getting the start tonight. I like goals over 6. Monday Night Football, the Houston Texans. Let's lay the 7, and let's cheer for more points there. Okay, everybody? Thanks so much for watching and for subscribing and commenting. And we'll catch you soon. Okay, make sure you hit the notification button, because I got videos coming all the time.